I have found the worst movie. You might think you've seen the worst movie, but no, it's me. I have. This movie is so bad, I switched content genres just to talk about it. Some of you, if you've been here for a while, know about my childhood crush, Jess from the Gilmore Girls. This crush was a really big deal for me because it was the first fictional crush that wasn't on a cartoon character or Edward Cullen. Puberty really got me moving up in life. So recently I was trying to find other movies with Milo V. I really don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just gonna call him Milo V because that's how it's written in the script. And that's when I found Dirty Deeds, 2005. Remember Saltburn? Remember like a month ago when we were all talking about Saltburn? Oh, it's so like sexual and weird. Oh, this is so gross. This is worse. This is the worst movie. Sadly, my childhood crush is at the front of all of it. This is probably one of the hardest movies I have ever had to sit through. And by the time you're seeing this video, I will have seen it 4 times at this point. I would like to say before we get into this, if you are under the age of 17, please leave. Please go. I don't want you to see this. I'm gonna call your parents. Go. Go. Okay, so hopefully all of them left. We open up with probably one of the lamest opening title scenes I've ever seen. It's about 3 minutes long. The song is just explaining the exact plot of the movie for some reason. You get a classic Disney Channel opening.
My high school. I'll bet it's a lot like yours, which means it probably sucks.
So Jess from the Gilmore Girls is monologuing about how every homecoming, all the kids at his school do a challenge called the Dirty Deeds. I know that's the title of the movie. And normally, only stupid kids do it. But guess who's really stupid?
To me, it's bull. Just like everything else around here.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. He's not like the other girls. What are the dirty deeds exactly? Don't worry, we'll get into that later. Then we get this scene of this guy that makes out with women and puts their scrunchies on this gear stick. He is not important. He is just a reoccurring background character for some reason. And I think he's kind of gross.
Meg, I finished your college recommendation letter.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Hale.
I told them your odds-on favorite for valedictorian.
Immediately after that, we jump to this teacher telling Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls that she finished her college recommendation letter. Because who needs pacing? Let's just throw all of the scenes together as fast as we possibly can. This is Dan. Isn't he smug? He's the football leader or captain or whatever. I don't know his homeschool. He's gross and we don't like him. But don't worry, we'll get into that later. Okay, so I know this is really overwhelming because this movie just loves pacing. But this kid who's like the bully kid runs this guy's car over because he took his parking spot. No one like calls the cops or anything or really acknowledges it. The scene is actually useless except to establish that this guy is not mentally stable. I don't know. So Jess from the Gilmore Girls' cool band of misfits actually pulled a little prank today. They made the mascot on the homecoming banner look like he's flipping everyone off with the letters IAB. Gee, I wonder what that is. I hope it's nothing quirky and about how we live in a society. Doing a really great job of hiding it by bringing a camera and filming it and making little smirky faces. Then Dan and Jess from the Gilmore Girls stare at each other for some reason. It's really dramatic and played out and yeah. Looks like the principal noticed the fact that they're being really obvious about doing this and that they probably did it. Cut back to the guy that makes out with women in his car. He's still going at it.
We're gonna be late.
I graduated in June.
And apparently he graduated. And I would like to point out we are only 5 minutes into this movie.
Shall I call your mother, try to arrange a conference one more time?
Knock yourself out. 5th time is a charm.
I seem not to have a number for your father.
Join the party.
Oh no, Jess from the Gilmore Girls is a troubled teen. I sure am shocked. I don't know why Milo V plays these like troubled delinquent kids in every single movies he is in. There's the scene where the cops are threatening the football players not to do the dirty deeds. It's really long and stretched out, and it's probably one of the most infuriating scenes in a movie I've ever seen.
Well, it's homecoming weekend at West Valley, and everybody knows that means a lot of talk about the dirty deeds.
I haven't heard anything. How about you guys?
Nah. Well, let's just keep it that way, shall we?
Also, who is this man? He looks so familiar. It is driving me crazy. Is this Peter Knetter? Oh, by the way, Jess from the Gilmore Girls' name is actually Zach. So anyway, this is Zach. Gretchen Wieners, who we are just going to keep referring to as Gretchen Wieners because I think it's funny. Gretchen Wieners tells Zach that she's going off to college soon, and she can't have her little brother doing these pranks that could be getting him in trouble because she won't be able to look after him soon. Anyway, moving on. Then there's this fart joke that goes on for so long, and every time you think it's finally over, it just keeps going. I don't understand who this movie was made for. Why won't it stop? Oh my god.
Prescription. You're in pain. It's medicine. Take it. No. 4 to 6 hours.
There's this cute scene where Zach tells his friend to take his painkiller medicine, and even though this movie is really not holding up that great, Milo V still does a really good job at acting. I know I am biased because I have been in love with him since I was 11 years old. I don't care. But don't worry, once we get later into this movie, I almost stopped being in love with him, and now looking at him is really painful. Gretchen Wiener's brother gets tricked into drinking pee by the football team. There's a little monologue about the dirty deeds, and it really feels like it's trying to be Mean Girls, because Mean Girls came out like a year before this, and Gretchen Wieners is there. But it's not doing a very good job of being Mean Girls.
Senior class Prez has a key to some locker somewhere, and that's where the deeds are. I heard you could die doing the deeds.
10 years ago, some kid did them all. Football player, homecoming king. Dude's name was Duncan Ryan.
Duncan Ryan.
I'm pretty sure this man says a slur. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not going to play it. But who are these men? And why are they all 35 years old? Gretchen Wiener's brother decides he is going to do the deeds because he wants people to respect him. And he needs to prove himself after drinking pee. And there's this scene where the football team just throws a bottle at this homeless man, and he just collapses to the floor instantly. But luckily, Zach's there to help. And remember this homeless man, because he actually is important in the stupidest way possible. So Gretchen Wiener's brother, whose name is Kyle, swings up on his little bike, ready to do the dirty deeds. But Zach pulls in at the last minute, taking the opportunity from him. Because he loves Gretchen Wieners, and he wants Gretchen Wieners to be in love with him. And he promised to look after her brother. What are the deeds? You might be asking yourself. There are 10 challenges. Some of them are pretty chill. Some of them are very sexual, and some of them are just crime. Which is why few kids want to do them, because most people don't want to do crime.
You don't get the second deed until you finish the first. So it goes in like order?
First one is in the crime category, which is drink a beer in front of a cop. Wow, crazy. Our boy is very smart thanks to his main character energy. And he puts the alcohol in a coffee cup, so the cops will never know. He's not like other girls. Deed number 2. Zach needs to punch the toughest kid in town. Who is the toughest kid in town? Remember Bully Kid that ran over that guy's car? That's the toughest kid in town. Lucky for Zach, he's just out here doing some late night street karate with the local buff kids. Sad contemplation shot. Never mind party shot. Then he punches the kid. How he knew where he was in the first place, I don't know.
Are you lost, Harper?
Probably just like his main character energy. So sadly, we are getting to deed number 3. I don't want to talk about this one. This movie was just kind of bad up until this point. Like, it was definitely bad, but it was watchable until now. I think this scene takes the cake of being the worst movie scene I've ever seen in my entire life. Dirty Deeds will be paying for my therapy, and also maybe your therapy. I need to censor a lot of this because YouTube will get mad at me, but basically the third deed is that he needs to do things with a loaf of bread and then put it back. This scene is uncomfortably long, as if it wasn't uncomfortable enough. There is a security man watching him this entire time. There's this angle, daydreaming about a woman standing in front of a piece of bread. She has no shirt on. It is completely uncensored. This movie is PG-13. They have been censoring every time someone says something worse than the S word, but for some reason the shirtless woman is okay. I was with my best friend Sarah when we were looking for like Milo V movies because we're in love with him, and I saw this movie Dirty Deeds and I was like, okay, it has a 7 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's probably bad. I found it on YouTube. I skipped ahead a little bit just to get an idea of what this movie was. Guess what part I skipped to? It was this. It was the bread scene. Bully Kid has also been chasing him this entire scene. Don't worry, because Scrunchy Guy's still going at it in the back of his car. But yeah, he does deed number 3. You know, he finishes that. There's uncomfortable noises.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
I just wanted to watch my childhood crush Jess from the Gilmore Girls, and I had to get assaulted with this. So as I mentioned earlier, the security guy has like been watching him, and he comes out to find Zach, and you think he would like arrest him because that's disturbing. He's like, oh my god, you're doing the dirty deeds. I remember when we all did the dirty deeds in high school. Good for you. And then he just lets him go.
Rock on, son.
Yeah, you go with your vandalism. A blind man tries to buy the bread, but Zach still has some morals, and he gives the blind guy a different loaf of bread. But then the principal tries to buy the bread, and Zach just lets that happen. I need water. I can't do this. I need a second. So deed number 4 is just he needs to bring this leprechaun car thing to the school without damaging it. I don't think that's really equal to what he just did at all. Sadly, Zach's main character energy does not hold up at this point. I think it ran out after the bread. And then we go back to the principal, and he eats the bread, and there's stuff. There's holes in the bread. Why does he still... Do you not see the... I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna actually cry. Kyle, you know, Gretchen Wiener's brother, comes to help Zach because he's really upset that Zach stole this moment from him. He really wanted to do things with bread. And then Zach beats up this leprechaun, and I think this is actually funny.
Kicking the balloon's not gonna help.
Good job, Dirty Deeds. You have one funny scene. Good job. But yeah, they fix the leprechaun and they get it back. Yay, Dirty Deed number 4 is done. Gretchen Wieners shows up to yell at Zach because she thought he was different and he wasn't like other guys, and she can't believe that he would do this. And like, yeah, I agree, this is stupid. No kid should be doing any of this. But also, Zach told her he would watch out for her brother, and if her brother backed out of this, he was gonna get bullied and ridiculed. And so I'm not saying that, like, doing crime is worth, like, not getting bullied and ridiculed, but I don't know why she's giving him so much crap when he literally, like, told her he was gonna help look out for her brother, and he's doing it in the only way he can understand how. If anything, he should have just done the first deed or 2 and then backed out so that he wouldn't be committing crime. I don't know why she's acting like she's completely shocked that he would succumb to this, because he's literally doing it for her and her brother.
Like, I always thought you were different. You were smarter than Lawton and his macho crowd. You cared about other things.
Like the very first scene we saw of him, he spray painted a mascot to be flipping everyone off. Side note, there's been plot B where this freshman kid got peer pressured into throwing a party for all of the seniors while they, like, you know, wait for Zach to finish the deeds. I haven't been mentioning it because it's really stupid and it's not entertaining at all, and it's just like, I think they just needed to fill time. But like, the only reason I'm bringing up now is they're again just fully uncensored naked women, and I'm just really confused because this is a PG-13 movie. and you've been censoring most of the cuss words, so why are there shirtless women now? Why are there shirtless women? What happened, Dirty Deed? Did you change your mind on your PG-13 rating? So we're on Dirty Deed number 5. Dirty Deed number 5 escalates a lot. He has to steal a dead body. We also need to put it in the middle of the school. I have my Team Jess mug, so maybe this will, like, I don't know. I'm scared. So arguably, I think stealing a dead body is wrong. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Zach's a nice guy, so he doesn't take the grandma or the other nice people's dead bodies. He just takes this John Doe, because no one's gonna care if his dead body is found lying in the middle of the school. I'm sure he's never had family or people that loved him or cared about him. And if he did, who cares? We need to do Dirty Deed number 5. So they carry the body out. They put like a tarp over it, because I'm sure no one driving behind them will find that suspicious. Oh, look, it's the cops. Now, they do get away with it by telling the cops that Zach's friend, this is his uncle, and he is drunk. And that's a good save. That's what I would do if I was in this situation for some reason. So the cop buys it, he leaves, and then the dead body falls over, and the cop thinks that something else is going on, and he gets very upset and disgusted. I don't really understand that, because he's not moving, he just fell. Okay, he's just sitting there. We already went over that he is extremely drunk, but also if you do think that's happening, and you think that is a problem, and this minor is being assaulted by his uncle, shouldn't you be doing something? You're the cops. They drop the dead body if it's school. There's goth people. Yay, representation. So for deed number 6, he needs to get a homecoming queen's bra. And there's like a montage of him going to girls in the school who like have been homecoming queens and like going to their family and going to them. And for some reason, he opens up with, I need your bra. Don't understand, because this whole school is obsessed with dirty deeds, okay? He could have called this woman, right, and been like, can I talk to your daughter? Why doesn't he open up with that? Hey, can I talk to your girl in your house that was the homecoming queen? Okay, thank you. Hey, you know the dirty deeds that we're all obsessed with? I am doing them, and I need your bra. If that is okay with you, which I'm assuming it is, because all of you are obsessed with this. Zach is still yet to find a bra, and for some reason, he starts narrating again, like he has not been narrating since the first 10 seconds of this movie, but we're narrating again for some reason.
I'd been had, set up, and knocked over. 5 deeds down, 5 more to go, and it looked like the night was coming to an abrupt ending.
He does this really uncomfortable little chuckle.
I had to piss like it was nobody's business.
Zach goes into this little hotel because he's got to pee, and this woman sits next to him. Oh, look, it's the lady from Guardians of the Galaxy, because she is here too. And they start talking about how sad he is because Gretchen Wieners isn't in love with him, and he's doing everything in his power, stealing bras, assaulting bread, and it's not working. Plot convenience. She was a homecoming queen at their school. Wow. You guys believe that? What are the odds? Bad writing. That's what the odds were. Throwback flip phone video. We're on deed number 7. And sadly, Zach did get a flat tire from the football team. But if we go to plot B, the freshman is about to do things with a senior. And assuming that she is 18 and he is 14, gross. She was also in the Gilmore Girls. She was Dean's wife. Why are they all here? Why are they here? When they first pitched this movie, it was definitely different than what it ended up being, because I just don't know how anybody would willingly like read this script and sit down and go, yeah, I want to be in this movie. Speaking of Gretchen Wieners, Zach decides to go ask if he can borrow her car. Understandably, she does not want him to, because she does not want to be linked to crime. Valid. And then it seems like he's almost in tears because of it.
Can't have my car.
Meg, I've got nobody else to go to.
The 7th deed is he has to steal this old man's prosthetic leg. Like, you're crying over this? Like, you've been going on about how we live in a society and none of this matters, and now you're in tears because you can't steal this old man's prosthetic leg? The tears did work because Gretchen Wieners drives him to steal the old man's prosthetic leg. There's also this moment.
I know I can get too serious sometimes.
It's okay. 'Cause I know you're not. It's okay. 'Cause I know you're not. 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 'Cause I know you
Back to the old man. So there was a scene earlier that did set up, he's kind of mean. He might be a little racist. You know, he's not a good person. Still doesn't mean we should go steal his prosthetic leg. Let's just not. Let's just go back to bed. It's 2 a.m.
Go to sleep.
Zach steals his prosthetic leg. The old man was prepared and he put liquor in it so that it would fall out and alert him when someone tries to steal his leg. Then he wakes up and he has a gun. But luckily, Gretchen Wieners is there to flash the old man. Instantly, after taking her shirt off, she has decided she is pro dirty deeds. Dirty deeds? Great. She gives Zach her car so that he can go finish the rest of the dirty deeds. He could end up in jail, but who really cares at this point? So Dan shows up to beat Zach and give him the 8th dirty deed. Bully Kid shows up to also beat up Zach, but you'll never guess who comes to save the day. That's right, it was the homeless man from earlier.
Maybe you ought to think about bailing on this deeds thing.
Why, right when it's starting to get fun?
Zach is kind of starting to lose his mind, but there's no time to process that. Deed number 8. Deed number 8 is to steal a car that's worth at least $100,000. I am just kind of confused, like, why they would even make that. I mean, I'm confused about all of these deeds, but, like, they live in this, like, stupid suburban small town, and it was 2005, so $100,000 meant something different than it did right now. Not that that's still a lot of money, but, like, why would anyone decide to write that deed knowing you live in this, like, stupid small suburban town where nobody probably has a car worth $100,000 except this guy? He does. I need to take a sip of my tea. I can't do this. So I'm sure we can all agree this movie is not good. This is the point where it gets like incoherently not good. Like they realize they can only cram the ending in this movie into 20 minutes and they just start speed running it. So Zach steals this guy's car. And then 2 scenes later, Gretchen Wieners shows up to her house, and guess who's there? The man Zach just stole the car from. He's just there. Instantly. He's like, your boyfriend stole my car. And then she's like, he's not my boyfriend. And he's like, I know he is because he left your car there and I had the cops run the plates and then I showed up at your house and I'm gonna kill your brother now if I don't get my car back. I'm sorry. So you really are gonna tell me within 10 minutes you ran the plates, went to this girl's house, assuming, as far as you know, Zach doesn't even know her. He could have also just stolen this girl's car. And now you're just gonna kill this 15-year-old for no reason? What does he even have to do with it? Why are you What? So everyone's standing around waiting for Zach to come back, ready to do deed number 9. The rich guy shows up with Gretchen Wieners and her brother in his other expensive car. So again, if you have multiple cars that are this expensive, why are you gonna kill this random minor just because one of them was taken away? He doesn't even have anything to do with this. Plot twist though, deed number 9 is to find Duncan, the guy who originally did all 10 deeds. But no one's seen him for 30 years. Oh no, what will we do? Oh, never mind, it was the homeless guy. That was Duncan. He did the deeds, he's homeless now.
What happened to you?
Long story. Started way back. Senior year in high school. Should have seen me. Had the best car. Hottest girl.
Scene is really sad and dramatic for no reason, especially after like the amount of women I've seen without shirts and bread being assaulted. We're just gonna get real serious all of a sudden. Oh, homeless man / dirty deeds Duncan. I'm sorry, that was really funny. I just made that up. I'm sorry, that wasn't even in my script. Starts monologuing about how he had a nice car, he had a hot girlfriend, life was really looking up for him, and then he decided to do the deeds because he just wanted everyone to know how cool he was. All he ever cared about was status, and he just wanted everyone to appreciate him. But he was actually really miserable because high school doesn't really matter, and these stupid kids in school don't really matter. And you know what? He's right. I don't know why we needed this whole movie to explain that, though. And then he asked Zach what the hell he's doing, and honestly valid. I've been asking Zach that this entire movie. So Zach takes the final deed from Dean. His name's Dan. I wrote Dean down because I'm so used to the Gilmore Girls. He tells him that this is a waste of time and a waste of skin. I'm really glad that Zach had to assault Brett, steal things, steal a dead body, have the girl he likes flash this creepy old man for him to finally realize that this is a waste of time. Cinema. I still just don't get this because it feels like he had reverse character development, because at the beginning of this movie he was like, none of this matters, society, I'm not like the other boys. But yeah, I'm glad he had to do all those really horrible things to learn his life lesson. Then Gretchen Wiener's brother rips it up, everyone claps, r/everyone claps. So the cops show up and find out that Zach has done all of the dirty deeds. Specifically that Zach has stolen this rich guy's Ferrari. But the rich guy, you know, the one that was gonna kill Gretchen Wiener's 15-year-old brother, decides that he was just so moved by that speech and by Zach standing up to society that he isn't gonna press charges anymore. And then he threatens the cops because, oh yeah, he also is a mafia boss. Considering the cops do know what the dirty deeds are, technically speaking, they still kind of need to arrest him. Like, he drank underage, he assaulted Brett, he stole a dead body, he did crime.
Except you, valet. You're with me. Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen to your boyfriend.
Oh, he's not my boyfriend. He almost got my brother killed.
What? Yeah, you know, you almost did.
This man openly admitted that he was gonna kill Kyle for no reason. Final scene of plot B, more uncensored shirtless women. The people whose house it was that the freshmen threw the party at showed up, and they are really not that concerned, honestly.
What are you doing in our house?
I was just leaving.
To Zach and rich mafia guy who almost killed Gretchen Wiener's brother. Talking about how, you know, he's just really impressed that Zach was willing to do all that for Gretchen Wiener's brother. He can tell he's really in love with her. And then he just starts trauma dumping.
I killed 3 men by the time I was 18. Vietnam.
Which is really funny, but it's not funny because the movie wants it to be funny. It's funny because, again, the movie's taking itself way too seriously all of a sudden. Then he gives him a little pep talk about how you can't rely on anyone but yourself, which isn't really a good life lesson because you only rely on yourself, you're gonna be lonely and sad. Even though people hurt you, you need to rely on them. I don't know. I'm 20 years old. I know that this movie sucks. Rich guy then gives Zach his card and, you know, tells him to call him if he ever needs anything. Zach's got that main character energy. Dan's girlfriend then shows up to tell Zach that Bully Kid is going to be doing the 10th deed so that Zach will get in trouble because the cops already know Zach did all the deeds. So I don't know why this one would get him in trouble because they already didn't arrest him knowing the rest of it, and, you know, the mafia boss threatened him. Anyway, it's fine. And she tells Zach he needs to do something because he's putting fireworks under the homecoming stage, and people could get hurt and die. And Zach doesn't care until she tells him that Gretchen Wieners is gonna be there. But it's okay, he still has his main character energy. And Mafia Guy gives him a Ferrari to go save Gretchen Wieners. So after an epic speeding montage, Zach shows up, does this little hop, and then he does this silly little run. The Mafia Boss guy actually had some of his Mafia Boss friends come in earlier and move the fireworks from the stage to the bully's car.
Mom? Yeah. My truck just blew up. I don't know. No, don't yell at me!
We're supposed to laugh at the bully, but the scene actually made me really sad. But who cares, because he doesn't have main character energy, so his pain and his flaws mean absolutely nothing. So Zach gets the girl, he tells the principal what IAB stands for.
IAB, it's all... Thought you might want to know.
Wow, he's so cool. We get one last uncensored scene of girls without shirts on. Scrunchy guy is still making out with women. I'm glad we got his character arc tied up. And then Zach and Gretchen Wieners kiss in the Ferrari. The end. So that sure was a movie. The only things I could really think of saying are it was a product of its time for sure, and it shouldn't have been PG-13, and it should have been written better. I think it was trying to be like a Disney Channel movie, but like Mean Girls and kind of more mature. The only things I really feel like I learned is I am now scared of bread. I was looking at Dirty Deeds, the trailer, and I was reading some of the comments, and one of the comments said someone got IAB tattooed on their leg. Okay, listen. I think that when it comes to media, to a certain point, there's no such thing as good or bad. Like, I think there are some objectives for sure, but I know that just because I don't enjoy something doesn't mean someone else will enjoy it. If you love this movie, that's fine. I do think it's objectively bad. Good for you. Live your life. Enjoy things. But why would you want that tattooed on your leg? What if someone at work comes up to you and they're like, oh, what does IAB stand for? And you tell them it's from Dirty Deeds 2005. And they go, wow, that sounds interesting. I'm going to go look that up, and I'm going to go watch Dirty Deeds 2005. And then they go watch Dirty Deeds 2005. And then the next day, they have to look you in the eye at work knowing you got your tattoo from a movie where a man sexually assaults bread. Yeah, that was Dirty Deeds 2005. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to be more creative with the videos I make, so I wouldn't mind maybe jumping in more of the video essay category. If this video does good, I'll probably do more movies. There's some games I want to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this movie. If you know any other really horrible movies that I would probably like but not actually like, let me know. All right, Dirty Deeds 2005. Check your bread before you buy it.